I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Recently, I've had a couple of viewers email me asking me about renovations and where should I be spending my money on a renovation? Where is it worth it to put money into a home or a condo? Where am I kind of maybe spending chasing good dollars after bad, and that kind of thing. So I've done blogs on this in the past. You can go back into my archives where I've done several videos on renovations and where money is best spent. And the other thing I should tell you before I start here is that it is all over the road here. Situations are different, the type of product, if it's a detached house, a condo, the age of the building, the neighborhood, there's all kinds of variables here. But this is what you're hiring a realtor for. This is why you want to do your due diligence and hire a pro if you're looking to buy a home, whether that's going to be your principal residence or if it's going to be an investment property. You should have a realtor that you can bounce ideas, who's an expert in this, who will tell you what you want to spend money on for this house and what you don't want to be spending money on based on a bunch of different scenarios. So let me just vaguely here go through all this for you. So let's talk about detached homes. So for instance, a detached house, I recently had one, several that I've sold in East Vancouver on 33 by 122 lots. They're bungalows, they're 70-year-old homes in relatively good shape. So if someone were to buy the house, I'll give you an example here. This particular house was 2,200 square feet, but it was set up as a single family home, meaning that there was only one full bathroom, and then in the downstairs, it was just a single toilet. There was no vanity, no shower, nothing. No kitchen either. So it was set up as a single family home. It was priced around $1.4 million. Now, people looking at this house, there's different options you can go with here. This could make a good holding property for someone to live in, fix it up a little bit cosmetically, so maybe some new flooring, some new light fixtures, some new appliances, paint. But you really wouldn't want to do too much more to this house because it's in kind of that no man's land there, where it's a good lot, good street, but it's a 70-year-old house. You're really buying here dirt or lot value. The house is very livable, and for $20,000 or $30,000, you could spruce it up a little bit and make it a perfectly decent holding property for the next 5 to 10 years as a single family home. And then 5-10 years down the road, the market will probably be back on fire at that point. People will be looking for detached homes, builders, land assemblies, either sell it as part of to a developer or a builder, or tear it down and build your dream home yourself with a laneway house and a self-contained suite down. Now, as an investor looking at this house, you need to be careful. Sure, you could, because it's a single family home, it is authorized to put a legal suite down, and that could be done. However, you're probably going to have to spend anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 to put in a kitchen, put in a bathroom, spruce up the downstairs. There already is an entrance for the downstairs, but you'd have to block that off from the upper level. You'd also have to put a washer dryer up and leave the washer and dryer that's currently in the basement. So I figure there's probably at least $60,000 that's need to be spent, maybe more, to turn it into a self-contained suite down. So you have to be careful here on how much money do you want to spend on a house that's 70 years old and is really just lot value. If you want to spend the $70,000 plus another 30 or 40 upstairs, now you're spending another over $100,000 on this house. Now, again, it would boil down to how long do you want to keep this house? How long do you want to put a tenant in there? Maybe you want to rent the upstairs or downstairs, but it's a lot of juggling back and forth here. You have to be careful on how much you want to put into a house like that, and it's really on a case-by-case basis. Let me give you another example. There are a number of older buildings in downtown Vancouver in the West End that I'm quite bullish on, that I've been selling people in. Not going to give you the name of the building. I've got 2 of them because I've got clients that I want to get into it still. I've got, I'm waiting for units to hit, and I don't want to give away my hotspots. You got to be a client. But these are very good location buildings, concrete, between 27 and 32 years old. Both these buildings have been extensively upgraded. New windows, elevators, new cladding, new decks, lobbies, common area. The one building, about 120 units, has had almost $9 million spent in the last 3 years. The owners typically on the 2 bedrooms were levied about $100,000. So the building is basically brand new. The units, though, of course, are 30 years old and they're in need of reno. Now, this would be a situation where I would buy, and probably if you've got the money, you're paying about $1.1 million for 1,200 square feet, and you're going to need to spend about $150,000, $160,000 to do a nice reno, up to what the building is at and the location. So in that case, with these buildings, I say go for it. Do a reno and do a high quality reno. The building itself is basically brand new now. The piping, the electrical has all been done. Just do the individual units need to be renoed. And because of the location, all the money they spent on the building, I think with these units, it's smart to go all the way. Take out a few walls, open up the kitchen, put in some higher end appliances. Again, in this particular building, on a typical 1,100 square foot unit, I'm seeing people spending between $150,000 to $200,000 on a reno. But they are beautiful inside and outside now. You essentially have a brand new unit in a prime West End location. The $150,000 or $200,000 you spend on this unit will, if you decided to sell it down the road, you will get all that money back and then some, because of the building, because of the strata, because of the finishings that you're putting in there. You will get the money back on this. But then on the other hand, you've got older wood frame units. I've got stuff out in Richmond that you can buy. Prices are way up, but you can buy an unrenovated 2 bedroom in West Richmond for around $250 or $350, $375, about 1,100 square feet, 2 bed, 2 bath. These ones, you want to reno them. You're buying them unrenoed. They're 40 years old, wood frame. But on these ones, you have to take it into context to what the strata is. It's not a luxury strata. So on these, you'd probably be better off spending $30,000, $40,000 on a pretty decent rental. Use some nice finishings, but not over the top, not like the West End unit I just talked about. Because keep in mind too, when you're doing renos, if you do a $40,000 reno, 50% of that, or $20,000, is going to be materials. The other 50% is going to be labor. It's about 50-50. Now, if you can do some of the work yourself, even better. You're going to save a tremendous amount of money. But it's about 50-50. My rule of thumb now, too, back 10 years ago, you were putting in cheaper laminate and IKEA stuff and you know, cheaper tile from Home Depot. My feeling on that now is to maybe spend a little bit more, just go another 20% on the quality of your fixtures and your finishings, because your labor is still going to cost you X amount. It's only going to cost you an extra 20% for the materials, and it does make a big difference. But again, on these older wood frame ones, you want to keep it into what the overall building is worth. You don't want to be doing a $200,000 reno on a $350,000 2 bedroom wood frame in Richmond. But in the West End, on a building that's had an $8 million or $9 million retrofit in a prime location, there it makes sense. So that's it a bit in a nutshell. As I say, it's all over the road on what you want to do with renos and what you want to spend. I take it on a case-by-case basis with my clients, go through the pros, go through the cons, and what you want to do, where money is going to be well spent, and where you'd probably be better off not going there. The money you're putting into it, you're not going to get back on the resale down the road. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.